opening statement. I'll take my first question from the guy in the back with
We're
the
gonna-
glasses and the Duquesne shirt on.
No question for you, Coach. It's a good win.
No.
Okay, we can take questions for the student athletes first then.
For both Jimmy and Alex, about 6 minutes left to go. Jakob picks up his 5th foul. Dave's got 4. I think you guys responded with 4 straight possessions where you got at least 1 point. Can you both, I guess, Alex, from an offensive perspective, what did you guys do well in that stretch? And Jimmy, during that stretch, what did you guys do well enough defensively to get by with your big guys on the bench?
Yeah, well, offensively, I think we shared the ball a ton tonight, and that's been, something that we've been working on and something that we've been trying to implement all year, just sharing the ball and guys just have a next man up mentality. Guys have been in the gym, guys have been staying confident in who they are, and big time players make big time plays, so that's what just happened at the end of the game.
Jimmy, how about from a defensive standpoint, that stretch, how'd you guys get by with the big guys on the bench?
I think we communicated pretty good down the stretch, and we just communicated and talked, and we were physical with the bigger guys on the court.
Hey Alex, for you, at the end of the game, Cocker was at 4 fouls, and I noticed you really turned it up going to the hole. Was that something on your mind, like when you were driving each night?
Yeah, I did see, one of the coaches did tell me that Cocker had 4 fouls. I was trying to get him out of the game because he was hitting a lot of threes and he was, going to work. But yeah, that was definitely the game plan, just getting to the rim, trying to get fouled and get to that free throw line for sure.
Alex, that's now back-to-back games with 20 or more for you. Is something just kind of clicking offensively, and if so, just what's changed?
Nah, just confidence. I've always been confident in myself. I've always been, a gym rat, and just my coaches instilling confidence in me, and my teammates just instilling confidence in me, and that's been a huge part of the success for sure.
Both you guys, how much of a distraction is a guy like Cochran when he keeps making shots? How hard is it for you to just stay focused?
He was definitely a distraction. At halftime, we wanted to cut his water off, and I really didn't think he was going to keep making as many threes as he did leading into the second half. But he did, and he was a pest on defense a little bit too. So he had a really big night. Salute to him.
Zach Joaquin, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Jimmy and Alex, congratulations on the win, fellas. In what ways do y'all feel like y'all have evolved since the first time you saw VCU all the way back in January?
Yeah, I think we've evolved. I think we've grown a ton. I think we've definitely picked it up on the defensive end. I think that defense is our identity now. If we can, defend at a high level, that's going to win us a lot of games. And our offense, we already know our offense is going to come because we have too many guys that are talented, can make a lot of shots. So I think just, keeping defense the main focal point of this team and keeping, everybody just connected. I think that's been taking us a long way for sure since the VCU game.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, Zach Weiss, Pittsburgh Sports Now. You guys talked about sharing the basketball. How about valuing the basketball? 1 turnover tonight. Just how much does that speak to the connection and just the trust you have in each other out there?
Yeah, I really didn't know that. Throughout the game, I didn't know. That's big, and when I found out, that was great. And in our game plan, it was take care of the ball, and that's something that we did tonight.
Additional questions for Jimmy and Alex? That's it. One more in front.
Dustin Long, USA Sports. I know it's been a long time since you played VCU. I almost kind of wonder, like a guy like Terrence Hill, a guy who lighted up a lot, kind of like Cochran did tonight. What kind of a challenge can a guy like Terrence Hill be defensively?
Yeah, we obviously know he's a great player. I think we're not going to really focus on him. We're just going to focus on ourselves and what the team needs to do to execute our game plan on not only him but the whole team. So I think we're going to be just fine, for sure.
Yeah, I think we're going to be perfectly fine. We have great defenders for pretty solid offensive players.
Thank you. Thanks, fellas. Open it up for questions from Coach Joyce.
Coach, how do you get your guys ready to play number 2 VCU ranked team in under 24 hours?
Stick to the game plan. I don't think too much changes, right? This is tournament atmosphere. You have a day to prepare, right? They didn't know who they were going to play as of 20, 30 minutes ago. game under our belt. We have a strategic plan in place of how we're going to recover, how we'll game plan, and how we'll be ready to play. It's not like we have a choice, right? There's a game time tomorrow, I believe it's 5 o'clock, correct? And we don't get to change the time of the game or switch days, so we have to arrive and be ready to go. So that'll be our mindset, be ready to go.
Coach Will McDonald, Duquesne Student Television. The students showed up in bunches for this game. What's your message for them for showing up for the VCU game tomorrow?
First and foremost, a huge thank you to the students, not only the students. I believe, we have faculty and administration show up too. And just the city of Pittsburgh, I want to know what's going on in that bookstore, because I see more red and blue than before. So I think the city of Pittsburgh is continuing to show up for us too. The stakes go up tomorrow, right? It's another round, so hopefully they find some time in their schedule, or they clear their schedule. It's about happy hour time anyway. Everybody should be getting off, and they show up again tomorrow with that same type of energy and support. And if they can do even better, I'll accept that too.
Drew, a similar question to what I asked Jimmy and Alex during that stretch of time where Jakob fouled out with 6, Dave was on the bench with 5 fouls, but Dave had 4. So that stretch of time at about the 6-minute mark, what were you trying to get to, and what was you thinking about going small for as long as you did? How did the players handle that as well?
They handled it tremendously. I thought at halftime one of the messages was get even tougher, right? How tough can we be, possession by possession, right? Because I thought we had a really good first half, and as you go into that second half, it's life or death now in this tournament atmosphere. So the team who can dig in, really be competitive, and value every possession, that's the team that will find some success. So during that stretch, just imploring them this possession, and we got to be even tougher than the last one, and then the next one. And I thought, we battled with some smaller lineups. Guys stepped up and played big. I thought they had to play smaller too, which helped us in ways. So those guards on guards out there at a certain point in time, and then there's some key stops and key rebounds in there. When they did miss, I thought we finished possessions pretty well. All but one, I think we let them run off about 3 rebounds. I can't remember what time it was in the game. We let that possession get away from us. But for the majority of that game, and in half, we snatched every rebound. We completed plays and finished plays. So, and then strategically, with Dave having 4 fouls and Jakob already fouling out, it's just trying to buy some time, try to get to the media, see when we can insert Dave back into the lineup.
Coach, midway through the first half, you had about 8.5 minutes where you guys weren't able to score any points. How are you able to keep the team's mentality fresh and not let things snowball further and lose track of the game?
It's part of basketball. Like this is March. Like we don't know how it may play, and we've been in a situation like that similar before. Rhode Island, we had the same struggle. It happened again against tonight. We had the same struggle to put the ball in the basket. But I thought that game about a week ago, there was a lot of turnovers mixed in. Tonight we took care of the ball, and we actually had really good shots. You could hear the crowd and their angst like, oh, I thought that should have went in. We're going to take those opportunities, like those looks, we can make them. Right? So just keeping that trust and belief, in our guys. Like I think Jakob had two really good looks from 3, and I told him he better not pump fake the next one. You gotta shoot it. You gotta shoot it. You can't spend every day of the week shooting 300, 500 shots a day to get in the game with pump fake, man. You gotta live with it. And he will. And we just never know in the game what type of stretches you may go through. So we talk about those things. How are we going to react, right? When adversity is going to hit us and challenges and obstacles, what are we going to do? Who are we going to be? And we know we got to be resilient in those times. I thought that's what we did.
George Temple's in VCU, Ravens Rewind. In the first matchup, Duquesne put together a huge run to tie the game, and VCU really couldn't get away from you until the very end of the game. What were the good things in the second half of that game that you take into this game tomorrow?
All you VCU guys sneak in here, man. I thought this was supposed to be a pro Duquesne press conference. That game was a long time ago, right? You know, there's elements of that game where I think we didn't play very well. I thought, you know, early in the game that the tempo was more to their pace. And they played really well. They came in to our home court, and they, you know, I thought they challenged us defensively and offensively. But as far as like the run coming back to stay in the game, it's just who we have to be. You know, we play until they tell we can't play anymore. You know, so we just got some fight to us. I don't have any quitters in the room. The staff is not going to quit. Our players are not going to quit. So if anyone's expecting us to quit, you're looking at the wrong bunch of guys.
Dave Mackel, Pittsburgh Trib. Hey, Drew, you heard your guys say that they feel the team and the team's identity is defense now. You scored a lot of points in the beginning of the year, and you've been trying to hear that. Do you believe them?
When they're saying it now, I believe them. You know, we had to build it up, right? Our pace allowed for more possessions in the game at times. Right? We played pretty fast, and we still are above NCAA average as far as the pace of our possessions. And we just had some challenges. And not everything was on the players. I thought they were playing hard, right? I thought the effort was there. I thought it was a learning curve of things we just needed to get better at. We had to make some adjustments. Right? We had to fix our transition defense. We had to fix our ball screen defense. How are we going to protect the rim? Well, you get Dave back to the 5, and then you start protecting the rim. He's one of the best shot blockers in this league. So just making adjustments to help this team as well too. I never thought for a second that we didn't believe we had to play defense. Right? We just needed to believe it more.
We have time for 2 more questions. Go ahead.
Coach Brennan Flita, Duquesne Student TV. You guys had a lot of different guys step up in different ways tonight. How important is it to have depth on the roster going through a tournament like this?
It's very important. And our guys understand that, you know, their name is going to get called, and they have to impact the game in some way, shape, or form. Right? That possession, those minutes that they're out there, they matter. And they also understand that they don't know what series of plays is going to be the deciding factor. Right? Brandon Hall tonight, right, turning that offensive rebound into a jump ball, getting us the ball back. That's huge. While they were in the midst of their run, just plays like that. And then being able to sub in length and size with the max at the wing spot, with the game at the wing spot to defend in different ways. So, you know, the depth is going to come into play. It's going to be very important as we move through this thing. Our guys got to stay ready. They got to be ready mentally. Their spirits have to be right. They got to be ready to compete. And so far, they've been in the right mindset. They understand what's at stake.
Last question.
Coach Marcus Larry, WVCW Sports. VCU hasn't played since last Friday, almost a full week between the 2 tip times that they've had. Y'all just got finished up, obviously. What's your idea of that rest versus rust?
I don't know. Listen, I don't know what their rust feels like, nor am I spending time caring which day they played on that. I really don't care. I'm concerned with my group and how we just have to be prepared to play. What they're doing, ready, rusty, we'll see. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But I don't think there's any. I don't know. We're just going to get ready to play.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.